Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Yeah, I tried another way, didn't work. I did my best, man. I did my best. Tried to use my phone, my iPhone XR. For some reason, the internet isn't working so great today. I turned off my wireless, tried to just use my cellular. For some reason, like the way that I'm situated here, it's just like, screw you. And I was like, oh, come on, man, don't be so rude. But, I did what I could. So, anyway, what's up, guys? Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Let's try this stream. Hey, what's up? Already a couple people here. Probably a bunch of people saying, "What happened to that 30 seconds of nonsense that we just saw?" Yeah, blame this ugly bastard. I am so sick and tired of this iPhone XR, and I've only had it for a little over a month now. And I'm realized, like, I listened to people as opposed to doing my own research. I listened to friends and family, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you need a good battery life, and you need a good picture for your camera, right? And the boot and everything." Yeah. Well, guess what? What you need is one of the latest iPhones. They're always the best. So I checked it. It sucks. Now looking doing the research, saying, "Nope, Samsung would have been the way to go." Yeah, don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. This is where Flavor Flav's supposed to reach over my shoulder and go, anyway. I've been in kind of a public enemy kind of mood. Anyway, what's going on, everybody? Collector's here, Ed Brewer's here. Joe's Geek Show is here, the former Joseph's Books. Sorry, when I read something or hear something, I always remember the original name. I forget the new stuff. So I'm sorry. I every so often I mention you, Joe, and I'm just like, yeah, the former Joseph's Books, and I can't remember what he's called today. Sorry, but anyway, what's going on, Joe? How you doing, brother? Hey, Joe actually has a show, right? He has his own comic book reviews and his own talks and whatnot. So right click on his name. Actually, no, right click on the there should be three dots in a upper horizontal. No, that's vertical in a vertical line. Right click on those and click go to channel when it says this, and then yeah, it'll bring you there. You can check out all the stuff after my podcast. Hopefully, this podcast soon will be joined and we can start, like doing some real talking. I decide I'm going to keep using the same numbers because I'm saying like 136 podcasts, that's pretty good. So if I start with like, let's say 138 and I start doing like, bigger, I start going on some of the other podcast channels and just doing audio and talking to people and I got a guest with me and all that stuff, that'd be kind of cool, right? That'd be cool. But anyway, Poems Pose, what's up, dude? Something just popped. Somebody's in England. Somebody said, "Oh, Sabah, what's going on, Sabah? Looking forward to the first snowfall here in London. We already had ours here in Canada, man. Oof. Yeah, we had a snowfall. It wasn't a lot. It was just a little bit, but like it was a couple nights ago. I was just about to close the shades, and my kids are in the room like, y'all notice it's snowing? Like, really? I'm like, you're only saying that because you don't have to shovel. Shut up, man. Don't be too happy. Just, look at it and go, hi, smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. Anybody who remembers what Smile and Wave, boys, Smile and Waves is from? Plus 10 karma points. What do we got there? Hello, hello, J Day. What's going on? Love Ben Percy X Force this week. Dude, Ben Percy, dude, he's becoming one of my favorites. After that X Force, that was just that's like, okay, we've got the status quo. We got this book comes out, that's kind of cool. This book comes out, it's kind of cool. Oh, we're still waiting for Fallen Angels to come out this Wednesday, and all of a sudden X Force just comes and says, F your status quo. And I'm like, ah! They're evil and I love it, man. Percy is awesome. The brother don't sweat. He's nice. He knows nice. Um, I don't swear? No, sometimes I swear. I swear like a mother fathead. But the point is, I try not to because I do try to keep all my stuff kid friendly. But yeah, don't get me ticked off. I'll start screaming and cursing like a freaking sailor, man. Yo, I had to call the police on somebody the other day. I was coming home. I was trying to do this thing for this dude. He wants this Build-A-Figure piece. And I figured, you know what? I got an extra one because it was from the Batman thing, the newest DC Marvel, no, the DC. multi DC Comics multiverse thing. That's what it is. The Killer Croc build, that gigantic size Killer Croc that's bigger than like the Juggernaut and stuff like that. Like it's a ridiculous freaking build, but whatever. I love it. So that's the Dick Grayson as Batman thing. So you can have Dick Grayson with he's got the Batman cowl and he's smiling, or he's got the cowl pulled down. It's just the Dick Grayson face. He's like, "Hey, ladies," and it's like, "All right, I get it, I get it." He's like, "You want a dick pic, or you want to picture the butt?" And it's like, dude, that's freaking Dick Grayson, right? So anyway, I bought two. The first one I bought the neck piece. I've always said these little neck pieces they're really weak. After I shot my video for it, you can see that up on my other channel, the CBU-Toys. After I did that, or you can actually look at the description box, but the neck actually popped off. So I'm like, son of a gun. So I mean, it's not even like I could just what do you call it, glue it back on and hope everything's gonna be okay. No, it popped off and it's inside the freaking neck thing. I'm like, dude, y'all know like the Marvel comics one, the Marvel whatever, these guys. Oh, I just got my girl in, just got Scream. But like these ones, even for the girls, the heads I don't feel like popping it off, but you get the gist. Like the neck bone, they're really thick, right? No, not these ones. They're pencil thin. Pencils are thinner or thicker than these things. So it popped off. So I called and I was like, "Yo, I need a new one." So they sent me a new one, and that was kind of. And they actually sent it pretty quick for Canada, but it turns out that their um, Canada delivery is actually right here in Toronto. So I just had to wait a couple minutes, and it was it was like 4 days, and all of a sudden it was here. So that was pretty cool. I like that. So I went out and I bought, since they did that, I bought another one, and this one and one I'm just since I know it's going to pop off easily, I kept one with the Dick Grayson head and one with the Batman Dick Grayson head. So anyway, yeah, I did that. So I had two of the figures. So I figured, what? Just send this dude was trying to build a Killer Croc. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna send you your Killer Croc, man. So I sent him the leg for it. Well, actually, I tried to. Anyway, when I was coming home from the post office, trying to get the price for it, it was dark. It was like really dark. It was only 8 o'clock, but it was really dark, cloud cover and everything. And there's this crazy dude, and he was just screaming down the sidewalk at somebody standing at a bus stop. I was like, I was like, wow, somebody must have pissed him off. But I'm looking, I'm like, yo, whoever it is like really far away because I can't even see them. What's going on, man? And I think I see. Oh, that was a pop. I heard that. That was weird. Anyway, sorry for that. So he's like screaming at like nobody. I'm like, dude, what's going on? So I'm crossing the light's finally good for me, and I walk across the street, and I get just a little over halfway, and he says, "Hey, you, mother effer!" And I turn and I look, like I look up, I'm like, hmm? And he's looking right at me. I'm like, as I'm crossing the street, I'm like, me? He's like, yeah, you stupid mother effer. I'm like, um, okay. He's like, F you, F you. He's like cursing at me. I'm like, no, thank you. And I know I'm not supposed to engage a crazy person, and this person is clearly crazy, but it's me. So I'm just like, no, thank you. This dude starts F you, go F your mother, go, just go F your mother. And he's like screaming this stuff over and over. I'm like, no thanks. But anyway, I start walking. He's like, that. And then all of a sudden he says, I swear to God, I wish I had my gun. I would pull it out. I would blow your head off. That's when all of a sudden you get stupid with me. Because I'm a dude from Jersey. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy to throw down. It doesn't take much. It really doesn't. But you threaten me with a gun, suddenly we're going to have an issue. So I make a display of pulling out my phone, the stupid XR, at least it makes calls to 911. So I call 911. It's like, yeah, it's 911 in Canada also. So like, yo. So there's this dude, and I explained the whole thing. Remained anonymous. Cop comes down. I explained it as a guy, kind of tall, with a beard, kind of close cropped hair, wearing an OD green jacket. She didn't know what OD green was, like basically like the military drab green. It's like, okay, cool. I was like, oh, and he's got a backpack on. So I start getting down the road, after hanging up, and a cop pulls up next to me, and I'm like, and he's just staring at me, and he's looking. It's like, hi. And he's like, all right. And he keeps on driving. I was like, I thought I remained anonymous. Why is he looking at me? And suddenly I realized, and you guys have seen my jacket. You know what I'm saying? And the thing that I do on Tuesdays at Gotham Central, I actually wear an OD green jacket. My hair isn't close cropped, but it's shorter than it used to be. I've got a beard and I'm kind of tall. So go figure, I wound up giving a description of me. Oh, and what do you call it? I was at Toys R Us with my kids from school. My wife picked up the kids. She was taking them to a relative's house. Somebody in the family died on her side. That sucks. So, she wanted to bring the kids there, hopefully cheer some people up because everybody was like really sad. You know what I'm saying? So I grabbed their backpacks, slung them over my back, and I'm walking home. So now I've got a backpack also, actually two backpacks, but he can't see that. I'm just like, so I literally gave a description of myself. I'm like, son of a gun, only me could be so stupid. Only I could be that dumb to give a description of myself. Wow. Could you imagine if I got picked up and I actually wound up calling the cops on myself by accident? Wow. You guys would never let me down for that, and I would deserve it. Anyway, let's continue on with this freaking list. Oh man. So, Professor, did you get New Jersey mad? Arms folded, foot tapping. I don't think that's Jersey mad. That's like I don't know what that is. I think I've seen that before. Jersey mad, like where I'm from in Jersey, that's like Italian area. You don't you don't there is no folding of the arms. It's usually arms flailing. What the did you just say to me? Yo, come over here and say that. Come here, local. I'll meet you halfway. Get your ass over here. What? Like, dude, no. There's yelling and screaming and profanities. Nope, don't know what you're talking about. Jersey mad. No, I did not get Jersey mad at this cat. I was just like, what? Yep, Olive Drab, Mitch. Collector, sounds like Mystique might because they won't bring Destiny back. You guys are having your own conversation, man. Inferior 5 miniseries is dope. Isn't that a maxi series? Because I think there's 12 issues of that, Timothy. I could be wrong. But what I said about Mystique, don't know. I'm still very surprised. But Form 1 of the cover is already out for upcoming X-Force. Think Em and Jean are going to tag team on wearing the Cerebro Belt helmet. I think you said that you saw a picture of Jean wearing the mini Cerebro. They got to fix that. I hope they got a spare. Something that somebody pointed out in the chat, which was brilliant, and I probably should have mentioned, is that Professor X switched bodies with Phantom X. That's the reason why he's able to walk right now, right? Because otherwise, how's he walking? We'd like to assume that he just came out the gene therapy thing, but did he? So that's interesting. I wonder what they're going to do with that. Like, does that mean that his mind right away goes back to the astral plane? I would assume his mind goes right back to the astral plane. Maybe he and Phantom X can figure things out, and Phantom X will be like, you did not just go and get my body shot through the head. You know that never would have happened to me, right? Minus the time that, remember that X Force issue? Anyway, he would have made it like an illusion, right? Any plans for Hawkman Day, Professor? Steven Siller. Well, I did get my hands on I think it's sometime in the early 2000s. The Hawkman figure that came out from the DC Legends line. It was freaking awesome and beautiful, and I spent $50 on it, not including shipping. It was an extra 15 for shipping, and I am madly in love with this thing. And even though it's a really old figure, I did a review for it. So I will be putting that on my other channel and boom, just blasting out. So anybody who's interested in Hawkman Day can take a look at this beautiful figure. I showed it to you guys not too long ago, but yeah, it's out there somewhere. It's out there somewhere. Anyway, I spent like the whole day today playing Minecraft with my 6-year old. Like he loves that game. God, he's so addicted to that game. So we were just playing that all day. We went to the Nether together for the first time, and he always played like God mode. So now we're just survival, and he's just getting his butt. Both of us are getting our butts royally handed to us. We're in a desert biome, and the pillagers keep on coming in and ripping us a new one. So literally, we've only got one villager left in our in our village. And we're like, dude, this just ain't running. This ain't working. So we decided we're going to move to a different village. There's actually three other villages close by us. we we went out exploring, you know? It's like, we ain't going to be able to do anything without this, man. So let's just go to another village and start over there. So that's what we're going to start doing tomorrow. How many YouTube channels do you have, Professor? I have two. The second one is where I'm going to start doing my, um, um, what the heck is it called? My that's where I have my toy reviews, and I'm also going to be doing my stop motion animation stuff on there also. I did a really quick stop motion. Oh no, I didn't. I wanted to and I just didn't. Anyway, uh, plus besides that, I've got my Patreon, which I just put in my Dropbox, and I just have people doing stuff. Yeah, Corey, you had the recent interview with Comic Storian and the and James Tinney in the fourth. I'm like professionally jealous of that dude. I mean, I know he's been around a whole lot longer than me, but yeah, dude, like I still think to myself, I got to step up my game. So, check it out. When the stop motion starts, I'm just going to have a big old battle royal with everybody versus this guy right here. This is the new 52 version of Doomsday. To buy all, what is it, six figures in this set? One, two, three, four, five, six. Yes, to buy the six figures in this set cost me about $340. That's a lot of money. That's a whole lot of money. It's funny because like that's actually more than I make. That's actually almost what I make. No, that's a little bit more, yeah, than what I make per month off of this channel. So yeah. And I went a little bit over budget too, just dipping into my own funds, which I really try hard not to do. But $15 each, they had the final two figures that I don't own. Now I own them. So I've got all five of the no, that would be all six. Yeah, I've got all six of the regular Marvel family. I still call them the Marvel family. I don't care. So yeah, I've got all of the Shazam figures now, except for Black Adam, because the only Black Adam that's out right now is the Ooh, whoa, whoa, whoa! Don't fall now, don't fall. Yo, yo. The Black Adam one I saw is in a two pack with Shazam, but they're both 7-inch figures, and I don't really want to do that. Reaching out to Comic Storian would be kind of pointless because there's a whole bunch of. My second channel is called CBU-Toys. It's out there. There's a link below. Well, there's a link in the description. But no, the what do you call it? The Comic Storian. Like this dude is so huge. It's like, psst, what am I gonna do? Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people talking, hey, would you like to collaborate? Like, I'm a dinky little compared to him, I'm a dinky little channel. You know what I'm saying? I try to like with the amount of time that I have, the little amount of time I have, I try to reach out to smaller channels, you know, to try and boost them up. Because the way that I look at it is if a whole bunch of us come up together and we can trust each other and count on each other, you know what I'm saying, to do things, to collab and things like that, then we'll all kind of boost each other. It's like a little signal boost with each other, you know, that little ring and whatnot. Joseph Books is one of them. See what I just did there? Joe's Geek Show is one of them. Um, yeah, he would be a good history section for my university, but realistically, he's just huge. Calling a favor with Donnie Cates. Technically, he already did me a favor by coming on in the first place. Um, mm, I hear you. To talk to Ewing, Ewing would be awesome, but I don't know. One of these days, I'll see what's up. I don't be calling people posers, man. You know, I almost had this dude punch me in the face one time for me asking if he was a poser because I didn't know what it meant. I was in seventh grade and I was at this party, and go figure, as usual, I'm like the only white kid there, but whatever. Neighborhoods we're in and the friends we make. It is what it is. So I'm at this party downstairs in this kid's basement. Obviously, his parents are out. And what do you call it? I'm sitting down. I'm chilling out. Can't be dancing all the time. Sitting down, chilling out, looking at the strobe light. Like, wow, man, everything's in slow motion. It's so cool, man. Like, wow, wow, wow. Because I was a dork. You know what I'm saying? Seventh grade. How old am I? 12. So anyway, Guy goes and says, dude, I'm sitting down talking to. I forget what his name is. Anyway, we're talking, and he's like, "What kind of music do you listen to?" I was like, "I listen to literally what's ever on, man. I listen to everything." And but mostly, what I'm saying, I'll listen to either rock or I'll listen to rap. Dude's like, "No, see, you say you listen to anything, but no, I literally listen to everything." So when I hear people in this school talking about posers, okay, what I interpreted the meaning is someone who listens to every kind of music. That's what I thought it was. So when he says he genuinely listens to every kind of music, I said, "So are you a poser?" This guy actually knew what the word meant. He's like, "Do you want a bloody nose?" Now the music was really loud, so I didn't hear what he said. I'm like, "Huh?" He's like, "Do you want a bloody nose?" Like I heard all this stuff afterwards. I'm just like, I don't understand what you're saying. What are you asking me? He's like, "Do you want a bloody nose?" I swear I still couldn't hear him. Apparently I could because I understood it afterwards. Like, I don't know. Anyway, bye. So I got up because it looked like he was getting upset at me, and he was upset at me. But I thought he was getting upset at me because I couldn't hear what he was saying. So I got up and just walked away, and I went back to the dance floor. So I started talking to people, like, and then I played it through my head later on the night. I was like, oh, he wanted to fight, but that wouldn't have been worth it because like I didn't know what the word meant, so I had to ask my buds, yo, what does that word mean anyway? I am so stupid. I got no problem saying that. Should be proud of what you achieved so far in the community you brought together. Ah, well, thank you, Sabah. I try, I try. Joe poses for Vogue on the weekends. Well, let me tell you something about Joe. Joe actually uses a green screen like nobody else. All right. So, yes, I do believe that he has posed for Vogue, or at least that's what he wants us to believe. And for real, like if you want to see a bunch of people do, or if you want to see Joe, and actually, no, he does have a couple other guys with him once in a while who will do, they'll actually enact things. I see the stuff on it. Go follow him on Twitter too. Real talk, because you'll see his skits, and maybe it'll make you actually want to start watching some of his videos. So every time he's going to do a new comic book review, he actually has a skit that he does where he dresses up and like me, my thing is all my toys. He gets costumes. He's got like 100 costumes, and the dude will dress up like Superman, the Flash, what do you call it, Batman. Did you do an Aquaman? I don't remember if you did an Aquaman, but you got a whole bunch of characters. Ooh, I'm seeing Kilowog. No, he hates poozers, Ed Brewer. Kilowog hates poozers. Two O's, man. But what do you call it? Yeah, you know what? Do you have a Green Lantern costume? Because you should. Do you prefer Spotify, Pandora, or something else? What for the podcast? I don't know what that is. You do have an Aquaman. Awesome. No, I don't. I usually listen to Apple, iTunes, whatever, for my podcasts. But oh, I have Shazam. I have the Shazam app. I know everybody's like, don't show your phone because you might have porn. I don't have porn on my phone. What do you call it? I have a Pornhub account. Oh, that's right. Sabah was asking me how many accounts do you, how many channels do you have? I technically have a channel on Pornhub, so there's that. But yeah, I don't really use it too often. You could tell because when people were like, "Hey, in Gotham Central, that looks like the casting couch," I'm the dumbass who's like, "What's that?" So anyway, yeah, but dang, I've got Shazam, the Shazam app. It's right there. So that's when I hear a song, I'm like, oh, what is that? Boop. And I'm the jackass with my phone way up in the air. What is that sound? What is that music? Like I don't care. I don't get embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? I feel no shame in the stupid things that I do. So anyway, um, yeah, man. Um, Otherwise, I want to do. I don't know if I can get onto Spotify. I'll try Spotify, and I want to do Podbean. My big goal with the podcast, though, is to try to eventually get onto the mother of all podcast channels, and that's iTunes. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. We'll see what's up. He should have been hanging out with comic skaters. Won't blame him for losing his girlfriend. Whoa, a lot of. Hold on now. Favorite Age of Apocalypse character? Blink was obvious. Yes. Banshee's arc. Hold on now. Why does everyone want the Snyder cut? Everybody's hoping to see the Snyder cut because a lot of people were really happy with what Zack Snyder was doing. Unfortunately, most of us did not like what he was doing. I am fairly interested in the idea of seeing it because, everything that I'd heard is there will not be any. Silva, could you send me that and a whole bunch of other ones out there? Because I'm curious. Hold on. I don't. I looked up and I don't see anything. What's going on with Comicsgate and somebody losing their girlfriend? I'm interested. Somebody please repeat that down there. Because that's interesting. I don't follow Comicsgate. I've seen a couple of their videos and I'm just like they're jackasses. So, um, I remember I did that one video, my take on Comicsgate, and it was like 3.5 hours long or something like that, but whatever it was. But I was trying to be really fair with them, and then not too long, like they started commenting on my stuff. I'm like, oh wow, you guys are all just a bunch of hateful mother fatheads, and you're clearly misogynistic. I mean, just saying. So there's that. But Zack Snyder has his moments. Hey, Suan, what's going on? You were sending me something about Streamlabs, Silva. Just that. Could you send me that on Facebook, please, the messenger? So yeah, I hear that the Snyder Cut won't happen, but then again, I keep on hearing that the soundtrack for the Snyder Cut is done. So there would have to be a huge, huge outpouring. And unfortunately, the people, thank you, Silva. Unfortunately, the people who were interested in the Snyder Cut, who actually turned out to demand the Snyder Cut, there were only like 13 people there. A lot of them were dressed up in costumes and they had a banner, but like you count them, there were only 13 people in the picture. You're expecting like at least 100 people to show up, right? Because then you could try and fudge the numbers. But 13 people, like that's an exact count. That's not much. That's many. You know what I'm saying? That's not how much. That's how many. In case anybody's curious, in English language, like you differentiate much and many. If you can fairly easily, if you're capable of counting the number, it's many. How many? The response you expect is a number. If you say, how much, you want to know a lot or little. So, yeah, as opposed to a number. So anyway, hey, Ario Anandito is here. Vampiro, what's going on, brother? Um, so anyway, yeah, just hate on things too much. CBR, SneeBR. Jason Momoa has seen the Snyder Cut. I don't know about all that stuff. Yeah, that's exactly the thing I'm thinking about, Joe. And I talked to Richard Pace about this, and he said there's no way that the WB is going to pay for a Snyder Cut because when you think about it, like the cut is the cut. The Snyder Cut would be taking out some things because the only difference between the Snyder Cut because Zach finished doing all the things that he was doing. He was done. The trick is that they didn't want WB didn't want him anymore. He got fired. He got fired because people started listening to wow the numbers are going down a lot, categorically going down. It was horrible. People are like falling apart, angry. Like nobody wants to know about the freaking Snyder cut. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to know about Zack Snyder stuff anymore. So people were ecstatic. I was ecstatic. Sorry, when Joss Whedon was assigned to it, but there was only but so much he could do. And what he did was he added humor. The problem is there's a lot of things that were taken out that we were expecting to see from the original trailers, and we've seen this before in plenty of other movies. God, which the Highlander Endgame, I think it's called, the fourth Highlander movie. That movie, dude, there was like people jumping through teleportation portals and all sorts of cool magic, spells being cast and stuff like that in the trailers. Go and look up the trailers for Highlander Endgame and then look at the actual movie. None of that's in there. Like none of that stuff made the final cut. So we've seen this stuff before, and that was the worst as far as I'm concerned. But a lot of the things happened that, that were supposed to happen in the trailer that didn't happen otherwise or erstwise, you could even say. Like for instance, it was supposed to be Superman walking up to Alfred in the Batcave, and Alfred was like, "Oh, well, they're going to be happy that you're back," which is funny because Alfred was against Superman in Batman vs Superman. I just got finished reviewing it on my Patreon channel. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a huge like I wound up loving the Batman vs Superman movie a whole lot more watching it again for the third time after all these. I did the director's cut after all these years watching it a second time. Excuse me, a third time. It's good. It's really good. You know what I'm saying? Like I could see at least what he was planning, and he did have a whole lot of stuff planned. But at the end of the day, he did have issues with. I just wanted to make a Man of Steel movie, and now I'm ready to make a Man of Steel movie, part two. And WB comes up and says, "You're not doing that anymore. Now what you're going to do is actually DC came and said, you're going to do a extended universe, and the movie you just finished, that's part one." But I wasn't planning on making that a part one, so I've got to do a whole bunch of other stuff. So this guy busted his ass and put together a script. If you go back and you look at BVS, you see all these seeds that he was planting. The movie was too extensive, but like this is what he did to make it bigger. The biggest problem that most of us had though was when you think about like for instance, I'm going to take this back to The Watchmen. When he did the Watchmen movie, the biggest problem that he had, the biggest problem that he caused with The Watchmen was with Rorschach. Everybody looks at Rorschach and says, this dude's amazing, right? Do you know that the whole purpose for Alan Moore creating the Rorschach character was to point out the fallacies in Steve Ditko's characters, like all of his characters, realistically, specifically the Question and Mr. A, those two characters, because he really went with the objectionist idea, the Ayn Rand idea. I almost said Rand Paul. That's libertarianism. That's very different. Um, what do you call it? The Ayn Rand philosophy of pull yourself up by the bootstraps, don't complain, move on to something else. But what happens when corporate greed winds up making so that we can't even afford bootstraps anymore, right? Don't complain. Well, then you're taking away our First Amendment right to freedom of speech and civil disobedience. That is a major contributor to like what you're basically saying, Steve Ditko, is the American Revolution never should have happened. That's what you're basically saying. So there shouldn't be an America. That completely flies in the face of what we as Americans are. We revolt. Not anymore, unfortunately. Now we're all just placated and we sit there and go, and we don't actually do anything about it. It's time to get, I hate to say this, as mean as it sounds, it's time to start getting a little bit freaking violent like they do in France because, dude, enough is enough already. But hey, what do I know? Anyway, Alan Moore's big point was to say Steve Ditko and his objectionist idea is wrong. So he made Rorschach to be a character that nobody could properly get behind. Here's a character who couldn't change his mind. He couldn't be swayed. Once he's on a show, like a guided missile. If all of a sudden you shoot a missile and all of a sudden you find out, oh wait, that's not the terrorist operation base. That's actually and an American orphanage. Well, too late. We can't change the course. Like that's terrible. That's terrible. So for that reason, um, he wanted to point out, no, this is wrong. Rather, his favorite, his ultimate character to push would be V for Vendetta. You know what I'm saying? He's the guy who says, "Hey, man, we got to have some kind of revolution, and if it has to be violent, let's do it." Like the gunpowder revolution in England back in the day. Like let's do it. But don't forget, you people are to blame for a lot of this also because you're the one who put him into the office. So like he's very big on taking responsibility for yourself. And like I agree with Alan Moore, you know what I'm saying, in that regard. The person I agree with the most and I wish could have been our president is George Carlin, but that's just me. But like anybody always asks me, what's your philosophy? What's your politics? George Carlin. That's both. You know what I'm saying? So he was just simply pointing out that Ditko's objectionism is wrong. Well, guess what philosophy Zack Snyder follows? Objectionism. So he believes all those things that Ditko believed. So he turned around and made Rorschach into Mr. A. He wound up making him to a totally awesome character. He put the wrong light on him. That's one of the main reasons why Zack Snyder or why Alan Moore was like, dude, F all of y'all. All right. And he was so done because if you really go back and you look at the discourse between Alan Moore and DC Comics, what do you call it? DC wasn't supposed to make any royalties. They were just supposed to keep on making this book for a little bit, and then eventually give all the rights back to him and Dave Gibbons. Well, it turns out DC was never going to do that. And once they wound up doing the movie, which they also weren't supposed to do according to the contract, what's his name? Alan Moore was just like, you know what? Screw you, DC. You can just burn in hell. I will never work for you again. And he wound up leaving. He wound up working for Image Comics. Then Image Comics, was it Image? I think it was Image. He was working for. Yeah, and he was doing the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and that was when Jim Lee was in charge, right? And then all of a sudden he sold all of that stuff to DC. Oh, Wildstorm. Excuse me, it was Wildstorm. And then, yeah, and all of a sudden he's like, "Crap, I'm working for DC, really?" So, so Jim Lee was like, "Dude, finish out your work. I promise you'll never have to deal with DC. You'll only deal with me directly." And once that ended, he's just like, "You know what? I'm done. I'm out." So yeah. Anyway, that's how all of that worked out. So that's why, the biggest problem anybody had with the Man of Steel movie was his parents, Clark's parents on Earth. You know what I'm saying? Ma and Pa Kent. Ah, you don't know this Earth anything. Mother, what? That's not his parents. Who are these people? Who are these people talking? Like it killed it. So yeah, the only thing that Joss Whedon brought was humor. He brought some humor. He also brought that stupid mustache thing, but what are you gonna do? So that forever ruined him. What else we have here? Most of the Marvel films have been produced by the CIA. I read an article and it makes so much sense, especially some of the propaganda. I know that CNN has a contract with the CIA, gives them exclusivity. It's one of the main reasons why um, CNN was able to be on the ground in Desert Storm. That was back in, what was that, 89? You know what I'm saying? 89 and 90? Yeah, oof. So, uh, the gunpowder plot. Okay, sorry, Corey. DC did offer Alan Moore the rights to Watchmen in exchange for a sequel, maybe a prequel. Yes, you're right, Mark Guerrero. They did. He said, "You give us a sequel," but the thing is, Alan Moore also stuck to his principles. He's like, "No, you're still altering the deal. The Watchmen wasn't meant to be a sequel or a prequel or have any of that stuff. It wasn't meant for any of that stuff. The Black Freighter or the Doomsday Clock. It wasn't meant for any of that stuff. It was supposed to be a standalone, and then it stops. You're asking me to compromise on my story and to compromise on this deal because the deal was." As long as the comic book is in distribution, we will do that, but we will never distribute anything else. We'll only keep on reprinting the comic book as long as it's in demand. What do you call it? They could have at any time said, okay, we're just going to give the rights back to you because that was part of the deal. Instead, they wanted to cheat, or excuse me, they wanted to, be greedy and keep it. But then making the movie in the first place, doing all the selling merchandise, all the things that they wanted to do, that was breaking the promise that they made to Alan Moore. That was breaking the contract. And Alan Moore's not stupid. He's a regular old employee. He's a regular writer, and he knows if I go out and I get a lawyer, they're going to get 10 lawyers. If I get two lawyers, they're going to get 20 lawyers. You know what I'm saying? You can't fight a company the size of WB. You just can't. So what's the point? They're making this TV show and all this stuff. Now, I don't care how good it is. I really don't feel like watching it because I do pretty much just stand with Alan Moore on this. It's wrong. It should have been a standalone. They shouldn't have done any of this other stuff. No matter how good Doomsday Clock might be, it's still really messed up. They lied to him. They swindled him and turn around. Make us a sequel. We'll give it back. Why is he going to believe them in the first place? They already lied and swindled him multiple times. Um, the fun powder plot. That's nice. Modern terminology, it was a foiled Catholic terrorist attempt against the British government. Um, always remember this comic book movie screams. Also, I'm good, thanks, you. Quinn taking over the Batman who laughs from Snyder. Zoe Quinn is. Oh, interesting. Oop, 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 bouncing. Which follow up, Batman vs Superman. All good, thanks. Only things getting older in 616. Jean is a must do it for Aunt May. Zoe Quinn is the writer for Dark Knight's Metal. Uh, sorry, what? She's the new writer for Dark Knight's Metal. Dark Knight's Metal is over. They're doing a new Dark Knight's Metal, and Snyder did that one. If Jesus here tomorrow, he would be treated just like Superman in BVS. If Jesus came tomorrow, he'd be treated like Batman from BVS. Loved by some, hated by others. He kind of already was, so that makes, a good amount of sense. I don't know if he'd be treated exactly like that. At the end of the day, the people who call for him the most, and some people are going to get upset over this, sorry, snowflakes, but it's the ultra conservatives who always call on the name of Jesus and always call Jesus, 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 Jesus. But at the end of the day, they don't follow anything the way that Jesus did. Jesus would not have been for guns. He would not have been been for open carry. He would have not been for closed carry. The only two things he ever did that were violent, and who knows if this was altered in the Bible. That right there is going to piss off a bunch of people. But he flipped over the tables of the money changers. Think about that. He flipped over the tables of the money changers, specifically though in the church, in the Temple of Jerusalem. So the money changers, these are basically the people who practice interest, the people who like bankers and things like that, Wall Street speculators, things like that. So would he would he be okay with it outside of the church? That's the problem. Because his exact words were, "You've turned the house of my father, you've turned my father's house into a den of vipers." So what do you call it? That's basically it. Would he be okay with it outside of that? I don't know, but he didn't like that in the church at all. That's a guaranteed. That's a given. Who knows about nowadays? But Jesus was undeniably a socialist. You are so hard pressed to argue against that. Dude, no, no. Jesus was all about the community sticking together and not socialism like, the government authoritarian. No, he was against big government. You got the government. Hey, what did Jesus say? When somebody comes up to him with a test, I think it was one of the Pharisees came up to him and said, "Hey, here's some money. Who should my loyalty go? You or the crown? Who should I give my tithing to, my taxes?" And he said, "Pull out a coin." So he pulled out a coin. He says, "Whose face is on that coin?" He says, "Caesar," which I think should have been Augustus Caesar at the time. Not Augustus Caesar, excuse me. Was it Nero? I think it was pre-Nero. I can't remember the exact because we don't actually know when Jesus was actually on the earth. There's too many different controversies, and it's like decades. They actually separate in decades. Anyway, so they say he says render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. So that's Caesar's money. His face is on it. You know what I'm saying? But do your charity and your good works. There's a denomination of Christianity that's like you don't need to do works. You just have to have belief. Well, funny. It's a good thing Jesus didn't say that. Anyway, he said, render unto Caesar's what's Caesar's, and render unto my father, what is due my father. So bang, that's what that's the deal. So that sort of socialism works. It's like here's the government, give them their taxes, but we have to help each other out. We don't need the government to do things for us. We need to do things for ourselves as a community, as a democracy, as helping each other out. That's what it all was about. Jesus was a socialist. The very defining term of socialism. That's him, not government overreach and all that nonsense. He wasn't all about that. Anyway, uh-oh, I'm hearing fake news. What's Tim? Where's Tim? What did Tim say? Conservatives also despise brown refugees. I don't know about all of them. And also, why is my Siri going off? The government's listening. Oh my God. Um, Prosperity preachers, yes, 100%. All televangelists, I don't know, A3N, but I know that the prosperity preachers, 100%, every single one of them, yes. Terrible. I'm talking about like that Reverend Creflo Dollar guy. That guy was funny. That guy was funny. Benny Hinn, I don't know if he's still around. He was probably the worst. Um, God, all of those guys, like from the past, the Bakers. The Bakers were trying to buy my grandparents' house in Florida, and They were trying to get like all these extra things for cheap and kept on saying, but the Lord's, and like my grandparents were selling, it's a Florida house. This is back in the 90s, the mid 90s. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, dude, you all that money you make, you could buy this house, no problem. But no, they're just like, no, and could you bring the price down for the Lord? The Lord's asking. And my grandparents are funny because my grandfather, mind you, my grandfather 100% Sicilian, Catholic, right? He abandoned the Catholic Church because he married a Dutch girl. She's she's three quarters Dutch and a quarter Native American. So you figure that's how much Native American I've got in me, a half of a quarter. So I've got about that much. But then again, that doesn't really matter, does it? The point is, um, she was Baptist? Yeah, she was Baptist. So, well, actually, no, you know what? Whatever it was, whatever she was, I don't know what she actually practiced. But anyway, he abandoned the faith because he was 16, she was 15. They wanted to get married. They were of legal age at the time, and what happened? The church said, no, we're not going to marry you because she's not Catholic. It's like, dude, all the stuff that I've given to the church, all that I've done for the church, and like I've been a Catholic my whole life, and you can't just make this one exception. No, she's got to go through this and this and this, and it would have been like a year later. He's like, you know what? I'm done. I'm gone. So there was still Catholicism on my father's side. That's why I went to Sunday school. But my grandfather, on my mother's side, he was done with that. So when these church people were like, for God, he's like, I believe in my own God. I don't know what you believe in. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to pay this price, the asking price, plus he already did drop it. He's like, just get out of here. Like he practically spit in Geraldine Baker, I think her name was, right? Anyway, practically spit in their faces. Like unbelievable. So let's see. Da, 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 da. What do we got here? What do we got here? Crom just laughs in jest. Silver Surfer loves that. Fool, is Mr. T in the chat? In Islam, we believe the Prophet Isa alayhi salam. Um, we believe he will return to Earth when needed the most. Yes, and that's one of the fun things about monotheism, because the three main monotheistic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. All three believe that the Messiah is coming. The Jews believe that the Messiah is coming for the first time. The Christians and the Muslims both believe that Jesus was the Messiah, and they both believe that he's coming back, and both believing that he's helping them. The Jews believe that the Messiah is going to help them. Everybody's, trying to get this, so that's why Jerusalem and the Palestinians, the Philistines are all in this crap of trouble right now. Like, we have no rights. They won't do anything for us. They're killing us. For what? Because they all believe that, a Messiah is coming and whatnot. And it's like they're all trying this forced prophecy stuff. It's like, dude, enough already. Enough already. If God's hand can be forced, then he's no God. You know what I'm saying? If prophecy is real, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. But trying to force prophecy, this tells me you have no faith. You don't really have faith. You know what I'm saying? If I could say something like F your God and somebody goes, dude, you don't have faith. You're not filled with the Holy Spirit. You have no real faith. Exactly. He will come like a thief in the night. That's what Jesus said. I think that's in the book of Revelation, right? Coffee breath. He says Jesus will come like a thief in the night, meaning he's going to come in the middle of the. Who was it who said? I think it was Carlos Lopez. Was like, see, Jesus is a Mexican. I'm like, oh my God, I love this. But what do you call? I miss Carlos Lopez, man. Captain America. There's only one God, ma'am, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that. Um, what do you call it? Yeah, just I don't know, man. Like it is what it is. The conversations presented as evidence are highly suspect. Silk off his shirt, shiny rim glasses. Oh, maybe the horn-rimmed glasses. He'll come looking like what's his name? The horn-rimmed glasses man from Heroes. I just don't want name calling. I want us to be appreciative of each other and share opinions openly, correctly. And yes, exactly. Hey, what's going on? Tonight's not about comics, it's about the Lord. What's going on, Thomas? Hey, I was just talking about Grandma and Grandpa recently. Um, what do you call it? But anyway, yeah. So, what happened? I don't know. Yeah, enough of all that. Yeah, I really don't want there to be like name calling and stuff like that. I don't particularly follow any religion. I know about lots of religions, lots of denominations. I can appreciate them all and just kind of look at them and go, "Oh, that's cool." You know what I'm saying? But I read my comic books and I don't believe that Superman is real either. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it is what it is. Um, Cthulhu is number one anyway. Okay, so what version of Superman is allowable? Can we do Earth 23 Superman? He's got to be my favorite, man. Like, he's the president for crying out loud. Joker is the most profitable superhero movie thanks to its exactly thanks to its low budget. Well, either way, it's still did it. You know what I'm saying? If you got to spend, here's the thing: there's a bunch of people out there whose channels started after mine, but they're bigger than mine now. Um, Excuse me, or at least they're bigger as far as subscriptions are concerned. Excuse me, some of them pay for bots. Some of them pay for ad space. I don't pay for ad space. I don't pay for any of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I get it out and hopefully by word of mouth it'll get larger. Hopefully people see, some of my content and they'll be like, "Oh my God, this is amazing." And then boom, you're good. But, like it is what it is. But if they do pay for it, they're going to, what I'm saying, there's the pluses with it, there's the minuses for it. You know what I'm saying? Um, all the money that I make, all the money, like I make a lot of money. The pittance that I make off of this channel, it goes towards toys. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. Hi, Bagel Bagel. What's the matter, kitty kitty? You want to come up? What's the matter? You sound so sad. You sound so sad, my kitty kitty. You big bagel. She knows it's podcast time, so she comes on up. Get off my lawn. Film versus off too many characters to be a masterpiece. Whatever. Um, Realistic Superman. It's almost 2020 for God's sake. Let's see. Uh-oh. No, Suen's happy too. Oh, I see these guys with 4,000 subs and 5 people in streams. Yes, that's exactly what you wind up seeing in cases like that. Anyway, oh, Suen, I completed I showed everybody before. I completed my Marvel family. So all the Shazam characters, I've got them all now. Yay! Um, and I got them I had a chance to get Pedro here, the green guy, a while ago, but it didn't come with his what is this one? This one is supposed to be Envy, I think. I think this one is Envy. Anyway, yeah, it didn't come. Somebody stole this out of the pack, so I got them on eBay. No, Amazon, so that I can actually. Oh, Bagel, you're sitting right on my piece there. So I got on Amazon, and I got them all, so I can actually like make a set and everything like that. Now we must hear the Soft Kitty song. Um, there is a Soft Kitty song. I don't remember how that goes. I remember Smelly Cat though from Friends. Smelly cat, what are they feeding you? Smelly cat, smell. Whoa, Andrew, you and me, we gonna throw down. It's time for the Super Cat. Not the Super Chat, the Super Cat. Here, I will hook you up, Bagel Bagel. Oops, got my cough drops there. No, 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 relax, relax. She's used to getting these on the floor. So I got my. Oh, Temptations, if you want to sponsor, I will do this every single video. Promise. Soft kitty, warm kitty, little ball of fur. Happy kitty, sleepy kitty, purr, purr, purr. Yeah, is that like a nursery rhyme or something? What's your favorite story of all in comics? Oh, dude, Lucas Tout, man. I don't know. Yes, it's not your fault. Oh, you just bit my thumb. Thank you, Bagel. Appreciate that. There you go. Just slow down. You don't have to, like, I'm not going to rush you. Like, he's going to disappear. Favorite comic arc of all time. I think I sometimes try to think of what my favorite comic book arc. I don't know. Like I just like a lot of them, man. Poop rings on the top of all my comic book boxes. Wow. Ah, for crying out loud. Thank you, Sue Ann. I appreciate. Okay. So I'm going to assume you want the new one, or do you want Darla? Let me know. Do you want um Mary, or do you want Darla, or do you want Pedro over here, or Captain Marvel himself? Shazam. You want Bagel? Okay. Here we go. Boom chicka laka laka boom chicka laka laka boom chicka laka laka boom chicka laka laka boom 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 chicka. Okay, I don't want to mess with her. Come here. Come here, Bagel Bagel. That's my good girl. You want the treats. Oh, no, keep it. Oh, you want Darla. Oh, okay. You said Bagel. You said Bagel. Okay, last one, Bagel Bagel. Last one. And we're going to say this one's from Suan, okay? We're going to say this one's from Suan. You want to jump up and get this one? Well, you got it. You want to lick my fingers? There you go. Yes. Lick the crumbs from my fingers. When I hold up my cat, she looks like a slinky. PETA's always watching. I don't think PETA exists in Canada. I'm not sure. Um, oh, it's from Big Bang Theory. Thank you. Okay, appreciate that, Tom. DC needs to bring to get Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, Albert to produce the movies. Yeah, I don't see why not. They did such a great job on the animated ones after all. Batman Year 2 is my favorite for DC. Okay, nice. I kind of appreciated Year 1 a little bit more, but it's cool. It's cool. Yeah, exactly, right? Surprising pick. I don't know. It's hard to say. I like so many comics. I like so many arcs. I like so much of what comic books are. Um, let's see. What else is there? All right, guys, give me something to talk about. Everyone loves a slinky. You're gonna get a slinky, slinky, go slinky, go. Okay, is that like a new song? Because the original Slinky song was Slinky, a slinky. It's fun for a girl and a boy. It's fun for it's such a wonderful toy. It's fun for a girl and a boy. You know what? Go and listen to Eddie Murphy Raw. He gives the whole thing there. Bruce Timm is a pervert. What's this now? Uh, wow. What are the best X-Men stories? Mutant Massacre, hands down. Hands down, no argumentation accepted. Mutant Massacre was the greatest freaking um, arc ever for the X-Men. Like it was amazing. It was out of this world. Nobody expected it. Nobody could have expected it. Crossed over with so many different characters. What would be his? Tell us how you and Bagel met. What do you, what do you think of the latest Swordmaster? I was going to do that in my bulk review. I'm sorry. Actually, it's the most recent comic book that I read, Ario. Um, so yeah, it's right here. Uh, okay, so the first story seemed to go on a lot longer because there's two stories in Swordmaster, issue number 5. There's always two stories in it. So it guest stars Doctor Strange and Baron Mordo. It's called The Observer in the Darkness. It was pretty good, but it's like it's an old school story, and you could tell that it's an old school story because it's like Doctor Strange is actually dressed in this dress back when he lost the magic. So when this was an online, if, I think this was an online comic, it actually featured Doctor Strange back then, after he lost all of his magic. As far as the second story now, Swordmaster and Shang-Chi Masterclass Part 5, writers Greg Pak and Fonda Lee, artist this guy named Ario Anandito. I heard he goes by this nickname Vampiro once in a while, who's also a totally awesome wrestler in WCW. Um, color artist Rachel Rosenberg, VC's Travis Lanham doing everything. Gunji does the cover. Anyway, this is Sh- this is actually one of the best versions of Shang-Chi out there. That's right. People are going to argue. Psh, bring it. But I came with the receipts. The idea is that Shang-Chi is trying to keep the peace between a very young sword master who doesn't know how to use his sword at all. He doesn't know any of the powers it can do. He has no clue, right? Like, well, almost no clue. Um, and Ares, the god of war, yes, the Marvel version is there, and he's wrecking house on everything, and he's beating up on everybody, and all these cats are like, dude, what the frig? You know what I'm saying? So they decide they have to team up. In this particular issue, they're already teamed up. It has some great art. Just saying, Ed Brewer, but yes, agreed. So what happens now? These guys decide to all team up. Shang-Chi says, listen, we've actually got common goals. How about if, you need to use the sword, but you can't, to Ares, but you can't use the sword. Only Swordmaster can use the sword. Yin, I think Yin Li. What the heck is this cat's name? Lin Lai. Lin Lai is the only person who can use the sword. So you need him to help free one of your sons, that big red serpent guy. He's like, okay, well, what do you want in return? Help him find his father. Okay, fine. I'll help you find your father. You help me find my son. So they go and they do this. They start trying to work together. Um, Once they get down there, actually, they get down there and they meet up with the son, but all of a sudden they get attacked by some bad guys in this. I'm not going to go any further in this except to say Shang-Chi decides to start fighting these guys. Ares is doing a pretty good job because let's face it, he's effing Ares, right? Lin Lai is doing a pretty good job. The Swordmaster, he's doing okay because he's got a super powerful amped up sword. Swordmaster straight up whoops some booty. He's like, so these guys are made, these particular bad guys are made out of stone. Thus, they are slow and strong. In order to defeat slow and strong, you must be fast and quick. That was, and yes, there is a difference between fast and quick. That was an awesome moment. And there's a whole bunch of other cool, awesome moments. The second story isn't long enough. Like in this particular issue of all of them, I always say that the second story isn't long enough, but this issue especially felt like it was less than half the size of the first story, which was kind of uncool. But you know what? It is what it is. Um, yeah, man, this is an awesome book, and I'm going to review it in my bulk reviews because, yeah, I'm just doing too many comic books. I've still got a bunch more comic books to do, and I'm tired, man. I'm tired. I'll probably try and finish them up tonight, and by tonight or tomorrow, I'll put out the review. But awesome stuff, awesome stuff. Vampiro deserves a Marvel contract. Unless, of course, it's going to get to the point where he's just too big for Marvel. They're going to be like, dude, we want to give you an exclusive contract. We don't want you to go anyplace else. And he's going to be like, sorry, brah, I'm making too much money doing my own thing. Because, yeah, Ario actually does a lot of different work. You should see the stuff that he does on his statues. Actually, follow him. Follow his stuff. You can actually go to his page and what do you call it? Oh, and he's got a Skillshare thing up also, which I know he doesn't like to advertise a lot, but he's got a Skillshare up where he'll teach you how to draw. And he actually looks like Nick Fury. He's got an eye patch on, which he doesn't need an eye patch, so it's just hysterical. But anyway, yeah, follow this cat. Follow this cat. Good stuff. I hear that Comic Undiscovered Country is really hot at the moment. Okay, I read that also. I can't think of five things to talk about it. I read it. I didn't actually like it. I'm going to review that one also in my bulk reviews, but I'll just mention briefly. It's like way down in the pile. I only grabbed Swordmaster because it is like at the top of my list. I just read that earlier. But I just told them about the Fury thing. Sorry. Anyway, uh, what do you call? Okay, boom. There you go. Got a question for you, bud. So, Cruella, yeah, she would. Okay, so was it just shoot? Was it just, oh, the Undiscovered Country? Basically, this is a comic book where America has disappeared from the map, so to speak. Nobody's heard from America in a long time, sometime in the future. All of a sudden, the rest of the world is in a bunch of trouble. There's a sky virus, so every so often, so, like people are dying from some virus in the sky. Choppers come by once in a while, helicopters come by and they drop this stuff on people. And the most important thing for people right now is water, food, and some kind of shelter. Anything, even an umbrella, so that when these disinfectants come down, it doesn't get directly on your skin and you don't die. It's funny. It's a lot like what's going on. Oh, Suan and anybody else who's in Canada right now, y'all did hear that what do you call it? Canada is going through a water crisis right now because we've just discovered that the report just went out on Tuesday morning that some places in Canada are actually worse than Flint, Michigan. Toronto is actually one of them. My area, Peel region, is one of the best. It's still not great. I already had water filters. I went out and I bought more water filters just in case because I expected a rush. I beat the rush. I'm just saying. But dude, like grab a water filter, please grab a water filter. You always have a water filter Awesome. You always filter your water, but just make sure it actually filters for lead also. It's got a specific because most of them will filter for taste, which usually means like the chlorine. They'll filter fluoride by accident. They'll filter mercury and copper. They've got to specifically say that they filter for lead also. So just make sure that you're golden there, okay? Please, thank you. That means that you also can't, or it's a good idea not to shower with that kind of water also, because anything that gets into your bloodstream. Yeah. Anyway, okay, so bang. Anyway, so yeah, so these guys they get a message from America saying, "Oh, hey, check it out." You know what I'm saying? Come on over. But it turns out it's like a weird one. Like it's just some local yokel who's acting like he's somebody special, or it's an old message, whatever. Anyway, by the time they get to America, it turns out that America has or mutant creatures running around, like fish that swim on empty land and they move around and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really weird. Like if there was just going to be a dystopian future story, I'm like, I'm down. Let's check that out. But this is like, I don't know what the hell this is all about. Ah, The Boys Season 2 trailer, Dylan's comic book rants. If you're still doing your channel, somebody go and check out Dylan's channel also. No, I didn't see the trailer for it. I don't really want to see the trailer for it. I'm just down for when it finally comes out. Um, and I hope it comes out soon because I'm planning on canceling my Prime pretty soon. These guys suck, man. These guys suck. Prime, like they've got all these other channels that show up that are pay channels. I paid for Prime, Amazon Prime, and they've got all these other channels that are, like the Stars, Encore, and all these other channels up there. Like, hey, check out this movie, this movie, and this movie. So I go to check it out, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, no, they want me to pay for this stuff. Then why are you advertising it on Prime? Amazon's getting all this money for it, and I'm just getting, oh, look, they're advertising a Friday the 13th movie. I wouldn't mind watching part one again. And it turns out, oh, screw you, you got to pay for it. Bro, I don't need that in my life. So I don't know what's free and what's not free. I don't know what I've paid for and what I didn't pay for on Amazon anymore. So I'm real close to just canceling the damn thing at this point. It's like $10 a month where it's like, why? Why am I doing that? In fact, today's the 9th. Guys, 3 more days until the Disney streaming service. And if it doesn't come to Canada, I'm going to have a one-man riot. And God help me, any Marvel executive who is in my way when that happens. That's right, Vampiro, you better watch out too. Actually, he's not an executive, so we're good. We're good, man. But yeah. um, let's see what's going on here. The Boys comics are better than the live action series. Nice. I still haven't read them yet. I got to one of these days. It honestly wasn't a trailer. It was like a flashback of Homelander. Didn't show anything. We're not okay. Figures. You'd think be paying zero on taxes to let you have a few. Oh yeah, old fact. You know how to get me pissed off. You're 100% right. Oh, oh, look at this. He's leaving for his. Ario Anandito's leaving for his first to start writing the first issue of Atlantis Attacks. Mr. Ario Anandito, I love you, brother. You are the man. Can't wait until one of these days we can high five and hug in person. You are awesome. I can't wait to see Atlantis Attacks. It was a pretty good comic back in the day. It was actually all the annuals, like the X-Men and all those annuals. At first, it's a pretty good story, but now I can't wait to see what you're doing. So looking forward to it, brother. Love, peace, and hair grease. Okay, Saud Athani. Hello, how are you? How much of the stream have I missed? You have missed about an hour and 15 minutes. I'm sorry. But it's good to see you, and thank you very much, sir, for the $20. Always appreciated. Um, all the love in the world, Ario. Love you, man. Okay, so Saud, whenever somebody gives me a super chat, I will usually do a little dance for the guys, usually from the Captain Marvel family. I've got these two. I've got Pedro and Miss Marvel and Mary Marvel. I've got Darla and I've got Shazam himself up top. Which one do you want? Mention it, you get the dance. Um, Disney is going full on conquer. Yes, and they will. All the Star Trek shows are leaving Netflix in December because CBS is trying to do theirs. And then what have you? The Beer's a hugger. Hugs for everyone. Um, Shazam. Okay, let me get Shazam down. Relax, Bagel. You're fine. You don't have to get down. Okay, so we got the boom shaka laka laka boom shaka laka laka boom shaka laka laka boom shaka laka laka boom shaka laka laka. Oh, oh, shake that booty, shake that booty. Chicka chicka moonwalk. Let me go back here. Moonwalk. Dan 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 dan. My my 4-year-old, he's into Michael Jackson. I don't know where he heard the term from, probably from me, but I'm going to keep this down here because I don't want Bagel to get freaked out. She's freaked out that I'm leaning forward like that. Anyway, yeah, she's in my lap this whole time. Anyway, he's always going on about Michael Jackson. So every so often I'll play a Michael Jackson song for him, right? They're all pretty friendly. So I put on Smooth Criminal for him today, and he was just no, actually, the way it actually worked, my wife decided to play Thriller for him, the whole thing. So of course there's the zombies going everywhere, and there's Michael turning into a werewolf, and it's like, babe, are you freaking crazy? So he got a little bit scared. Daytime, still, he got a little bit scared doing that. So she put on Smooth Criminal afterwards. I'm like, all right, nice save. Because Smooth Criminal is probably the greatest freaking music video ever made. I mean, like, wow. You know what I'm saying? I actually know how they do the whole the leaning thing and whatnot, but wow, man. Wow. So that is awesome. Oh, it is more than just Star Trek leaving. Friends is leaving in January. Friends will no longer be on the Netflix anymore, which is sad. Which is sad. I actually bought the first birthday present that I bought my wife was was Friends on DVD. I got the whole 10 disc, all 10 seasons, the 10 disc box set. It was huge. You know what I'm saying? You open it up and all the stuff inside of it. And then we left it in Jersey, like with my comic books and stuff like that. Left all that stuff back in Jersey. And it's like, no. So it came on Netflix. We're like, we're good. And we've left things all over the place. She likes Reba McEntire also. So I bought her the Reba, she likes the songs, okay, whatever, but she really likes the movies. So I bought her, I think there's 5 seasons of that show. I don't think there were 7. I think there were just 5, but I bought her all of the seasons on individual, not in a box set. So the individual seasons. We left those in Saudi Arabia. Like, dude, we can't win. You know what I'm saying? We can't win. No matter what we do, we just can't win. But anyway, yeah, so I've got a very select number of DVDs right now. I'm trying to do the Marvel collection again. I had the entire Phase 1 that came with the Tesseract. You remember that? The light up Tesseract? I had that. We also left that in Saudi Arabia. Like, I just can't win. For the life of me, I can't win. I also bought a Blu-ray player when I was in Jersey, and then I brought it back with me to Saudi. Guess what this jackass did? Nice $230 Blu-ray player. All right. Hooked it up to the TV. I plugged it in. I forgot that there's different electrical outlets. It's 110 amperes here in, no, 120 amperes here in America and in Canada. All right. 110 amperes. It's 220 amperes in Saudi Arabia. So guess what happened? I plugged it in. Bzz. I'm like, dude, are you freaking kidding me? I have dementia? Hold on, I just pull up and I see this. What's going on? I have dementia? No, I don't. I've got a great memory. I just try and do too many things at one time. You never. What is this? What is this? What is this? Mark Guerrero never liked watching the whole thing. Give it a chance. You hated Phoebe, Ross, and Rachel? Mark Guerrero is evil. I love those guys. I love all of them. Um, what do you call it? Destiny Hoxpox. Think of a full voice comparison yet? Oh, oh, oh! Bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. Okay, a lot of something about her. Which one? They said a bunch of people. Um, anyway, so now the professor is a very stable genius. Oh, wrong answer, man. Wrong answer. The two things that I'm most known for is my stability, no, my mental stability, and my I don't know what the hell else he said. That was the funny thing that I was just like, did a sitting president actually say this out loud in public, knowingly? um, he forgot he has dementia again, guys. This mother fathead. Yo, y'all about to get your asses whooped. HBO is doing a Green Lantern series. I heard something about that. I think that would be the best series for DC to do. You know what I'm saying? Like different than what they're already doing. It's going to cost them some money. I hope they actually do spend the money on it. But that's awesome. I would love to see them do that. Yeah, isn't that the one that's also supposed to be airing the same time there as there? I just wanted to see Doom Patrol again, man. I bought the DVD, the DVD season one, box set and whatnot. My wife is watching it for the first time now. We still have the last disc to go, but she loves it. And we've both said, I've said it before when I did my reviews for it for each episode, and my wife says it without me even saying anything. This is the best that DC has ever done. The best thing that DC has ever done, hands down, in my opinion, is this. I know there's Richard Donner Superman. I don't think any of us were thinking about that at the time. I'm just saying, though, Doom Patrol is freaking amazing, man. It is so amazing. You want an R-rated Narnia series on HBO so bad? Um, I wonder what DC will be giving the Shazam family actual names. Billy came before Marvel. Marvel wasn't even a thing and should have kept the name. Mark, there's a lot of people who think that. You guys all have to understand something. Um, DC never owned what's his name? Captain Marvel. Technically, DC doesn't. Like, I don't know how DC even owns them right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you go back and you look at it, they never bought the rights to Captain Marvel. They sued Fawcett Comics and lost. They sued them again. They lost. DC sued them a third time. By this time, comics had pretty much went out of style. The golden age was over. Nobody expected there to be the so-called silver age. Nobody expected it. So Fawcett Comics was like, dude, I am so sick and tired of you jackasses taking us to court and continually losing. So you know what? How about this? We promise not to ever make Shazam, Captain Marvel again. All right? And DC was like, okay, cool. Well, all of a sudden, here comes the second coming of comic books with Flash number 4, right? The Barry Allen and all this crazy stuff. Boom! Like the Fantastic Four comes out, it goes crazy, and people go nuts over it. So Fawcett Comics is like, oh, let's go back. I'm like, wait, we can't do Superman or we can't do Captain Marvel anymore. Crap. And unfortunately, they didn't have any other characters, that were famous enough to fill their pages. So they wound up failing. DC, on the other hand, was like, all right, awesome. Go and check out the first issue of um, Luke Cage. Luke Cage, Hero for Hire. Issue number 1, the first appearance of Luke Cage. When he's putting together his costume, before he finds that magician's shirt and all that stuff, because that's what it was. He found a magician's shirt in a costume box. He also found the Captain Marvel uniform, held it up and everything, and he's like, "Huh, this looks cool." Nah, it looks like some forgotten superhero, and he puts it back down and then moves on. Right? He was allowed to do that because they weren't there. There was no license for that anymore. Marvel technically could have taken the Captain Marvel character, except Marvel, under Stan Lee, they had ethics, so they didn't. But they did, however, legally bought the name Captain Marvel. DC, on the other hand, said years later, hey, you know what? They're not allowed to do the character anymore. Hey, why don't we start doing the character? So they started doing the character and they licensed it. And well, I don't think they even licensed it, but whatever. I guess they licensed it by now. All these years later, they're like, yoink. And they just took the character. They never paid anybody for it, nothing. They had this crappy lawsuit because at the time, I don't know, like I'm not saying anybody now, but the people who did that were scumbags. That's all they were were scumbags in that regard, at least. And there was a whole bunch of shady stuff going on. How come Bob Kane got all the influence, all the everything for for Batman, for the creation of Batman? Bill Finger didn't get any. Bill Finger, the guy who created Green Lantern. Bill Finger, the guy who created so many cool characters. He also created Batman. Like Bob Kane just had this character, this blonde character with a red shirt. He was basically just a ripoff of Flash Gordon, and he had these wings, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm Batman." And DC was like, "This is crap. Bill, see what you can do with this." So Bill Finger comes along. He's like, "Okay, check this out," and draws it like that. He puts together the Joker. He puts together the Penguin. He puts together the Riddler. He puts together all these characters, including Robin. So he puts together all these characters. Also later on, he created King Tut for the Batman '66 TV. You know what I'm saying? Um, TV series. So like all these different characters he created. But Bob Kane says, well, technically, even though, you actually made it popular, I did come up with the name Batman and the idea of a guy with guns who went around. Yeah, we wound up scrapping the guns a couple issues in because it wasn't good for kids. Okay, but still, it's my idea. So DC, here's the deal. I won't take any money for the character, but you have to make sure you say that I'm the only sole creator of Batman. And DC at the time were such scumbags that they said, okay, stop and think about that for a second. Biggest comic book company in the world, and they've done more than this. They were scumbags. They were the scum of the earth. All these other companies that they put out of business, all these other companies where they bought all their products because they couldn't make any on their own, like Charlatan Comics. You know what I'm saying? All the Fox Studios, not the one that you're thinking of, Fox Syndicate Studios. All these companies that they bought up, you know what I'm saying, and put them through frivolous lawsuits. They are scum for what they've done, you know? And we're all worried about, oh, well, it's a Bagel wants to get down. And we're all worried about, well, Marvel doesn't deserve the rights to that name. No, Marvel 100% deserves the right to that name. 100% because they did all of that stuff through the proper legal channels. And none of it would have even been possible if DC weren't scumbags. If DC wasn't scumbags, Shazam would still be Captain Marvel. It would be owned by Fawcett Comics, and we would have a totally awesome character and a third comic book company that could rival Marvel and DC. So there's that. So no, sorry, I don't know. Bob Kane does. I don't know if Bob Kane has any descendants around. I don't know the answer to that. Um, Before DC started crediting Bill Finger, Grant Morrison gave him a tribute with the Ten-Eyed Man missing a finger. I remember you saying something like that, or not you say. I remember seeing something like that. Yes. Um, well, that's the reason why every time that I review something with Batman and I give credit where credit's due, I say Bill Finger created Batman, and I say some funny thing, second breathed about Bob Kane. And Bob Kane was there in the room. Bob Kane was picking his nose. You know what I'm saying? Bob Kane, I don't know, stole the idea. Bob Kane is a butthead. I'll say something like that every single time because, hey, he, at least I'm mentioning his name. You know what I'm saying? Nobody even mentioned Bill Finger's name because of what because of what Bob Kane did and what DC permitted because they wanted to save some money. Just it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. So and people have asked me, how long are you going to do this for? Well, I don't know. How long did Bob Kane do that to Bill Finger? So there's your answer. Um, yeah. um, Slade actor getting a positive press. Just you guys talking to each other. Kill, kill. Okay, so nobody's got anything for me because we're an hour, 23 minutes and 34 seconds, 35 seconds, 36 seconds, 37 seconds in. I still got a couple slices of my frozen pizza. The family's out. They're like I said, there's still the what do you call it? People still getting over what do you call it? The funeral arrangements and everything. So yeah, I don't even know when they're coming back. I was hoping to sit down and watch Return of the Jedi with my kids today, but wife wanted to take them out, so oh well, I guess tomorrow. So tomorrow, Minecraft and Minecraft and Return of the Jedi. Yes. So they've only watched the first two movies. I actually, anybody who's curious, I actually put my kids' reaction to the Darth Vader reveal from Empire Strikes Back. That's on my Instagram. Go check out my Instagram. Um, so anyway, yeah, there's that. Um, let's see. Are you planning on watching Titan season two? A lot of people saying I should, and I probably will, but I don't have. Here's the thing: I don't have the DC streaming service. I don't think. I still don't think it's available in Canada yet because DC is just. I don't know what the hell Warner Brothers doing. Anyway, I was using my VPN and one of my buddies' uh, password. He gave me his username and password so that I could watch season one and Doom Patrol. But the what do you call it? He wound up getting rid of the service. So I don't know if I can buy it on there, but honestly, I think I'll just wait to see if I think it's supposed to come out on Netflix pretty soon. In which case, I'll sit down and try and binge watch them all, and I'll do a review afterwards so you guys know what I think. But yeah, Minecraft and the Lord. Yeah, I'm about to bounce out to Collector. Start watching Heroes. It is good. It is good. Um, really like Tom King's other show, Touch. I don't know what that is. Um, I meant to type head out. Titans season two is fire. If you don't have decent streaming service, I'll send you a link to watch on your computer. I don't want to watch it illegally though. Somebody just sent me a thing to watch anime. I believe illegally, and I don't want to do that. Um, the funny thing is, it's not illegal to watch things illegally here in Canada. Go figure. But I still don't want to do that. Ghostbusters 2020 has confirmed the original cast is back. Kane wrote on a whole section of pages on his memoirs, contemplation of Justin's contract to give Bill Finger credit. But he did not. He made his bed. Exactly, exactly. Yeah, not his memoir, not just his memoirs. In his actual book that he published, he thought about, maybe giving Bill Finger credit, and he decided not to. And the man died. And yeah, he had to live with the idea that he made Batman what he is, created his rogues gallery and everything. And he got screwed. He got screwed because Bob Kane was what's the best way to put it? He was a narcissist. You know what I'm saying? Walking around in a freaking cape like a lunatic. If you could go back and look at some of the Stan Lee actually did an interview with Bob Kane, and Bob Kane is like, "Oh yeah, I created this and I did that and I did all these different things." So, and he's like, "You see, that's the proof." And it's like, "No, it's hearsay." And Stan Lee knew that. He's like, "Okay, if you say so." He's like, "No, I do say so." And I just gave you the proof. He's like, "Okay, if you say so." Because they were both friends. Bob Kane and Stan Lee were friends. But even Stan Lee pointed out multiple times he's a narcissist. He didn't say, as much. Stan Lee's too nice to say things like that, but you could tell he was really overbearing. And he knew that he was a liar also, so he never believed anything that he said. And he was bothered that he never gave credit to Bill Finger. And you think about who Stan Lee was. Stan Lee's the guy who came along and said, "How come only the writer and the artist get credit for a comic book? What about the inker? What about the letterer and stuff like that?" And later on, when people start doing their own colors, what about the colorist? You know what I'm saying? Stan Lee's the guy who came along and said, "We're going to start giving credit to all these guys." And bang, that's who Stan Lee was, you know? So, whoa, 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 whoa. There's a Bill Finger documentary on Hulu. Hello, I'm gonna have to see this now. If DC did try to adjust Batman's creation credit, no, they can't. They're legally bound now. They never gave any money to Bill Kane because that was part of the contract. So what do they have to do? They'd have to give like what, back pay or something like. I don't know how the contract is, but DC has to stick to a contract, right? um, documentary is made. All you guys seen this, and I didn't see it. I don't know about removed from Batman, but because he did draw the original Batman comics. You know, the first what 27 or so, 53. I forget what it was, but anyway. Um, yeah, yeah. Stan did make sure everybody got credit for that. Keep rocking, professors. Great stream as always. Thank you, Fernando. Mark, I would not flinch if they did. As previously said, if they tried to do that, some Kane family, if they exist or not, will come out of the woodwork to make an embarrassing stink. Probably would. What do you think of WWE SmackDown being on Fox Channel? I think it's the same old that it's always been. Um, yeah, I only I only watch WWE on YouTube now, so I'll watch like highlights and stuff like that. And I'll go to a sports bar to watch the pay-per-views. You know what I'm saying? Like I just really don't care, man. Bill and the Batman. Okay, I'm gonna go check that out on Hulu, huh? I don't have Hulu anymore. Crap. I'll try to see some of my friends who have Hulu around here. I'll see what's what. Um. Anyway, so blah 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 blah. Was just oh yeah with WWE. I don't know, man. WWE's got the same problem that they've had for the past couple of years. They're not really investing hard enough in any new talent. They keep on doing the old legacy stuff, the old, attitude era heroes. And it's like, dude, it's played out enough. It's great seeing Stone Cold appear once in a while. It's great seeing Hulk Hogan from the Rock and Wrestling days, and before, obviously, because he started the Rock and Wrestling days. It's great seeing The Rock. It's always great seeing The Rock, man. Holy crap, it's always great seeing The Rock. But that being said, like it's a what is this? It says I got a text from my wife. I do not see. Oh, she loved one of my images. Oh, I sent her. My youngest son fell asleep on my wife's lap last night, and I took a picture of it before I left. And I put a mattress on the. It was on the couch, so we have an extra mattress for guests. And I pulled the mattress out and put it underneath them in case he rolls off the couch on the floor because he's a roller. So anyway, and I sent her the picture. Um, so anyway, yeah, they just keep on rolling out like in wheelchair. Remember they were doing that with Classy Freddie Blassie, rolling this poor guy out on the wheelchair to try and make some extra views. Dude, this is how you make sure that a company goes under. They did some good work with Kofi Kingston. They did some good work with um, Daniel Bryan. Bryan Daniels is his real name. With Daniel Bryan, they did some good work with him and whatnot. But like John Cena's retired. What are they really doing with some of this new stuff? They keep on throwing out Corbin, Baron Corbin. Like they're putting him in all these clothes to hide the big sad face frown on his belly. Like, dude, what are they freaking doing here? That stuff just needs to stop. They need to start investing in making some new superstars. Like big time new superstars. Even Kofi Kingston's been at this for 9, 10 years. You know what I'm saying? It's great that he had a good run. I love that they got a good run. I actually don't have his character up there anymore. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, like, they need to start investing in making some new people super awesome and not forcing stuff on us like they did with Roman Reigns. I like Roman Reigns now because they're not forcing him down our throat anymore. But they should call back Ryback and be like, dude, sorry for everything we did to you. Please come back. Here's an open contract and we'll give you creative control also, like limited creative control, something. I loved Ryback. Asuka was, she is amazing. And what are they doing with her nowadays? You know what I'm saying? She's in a tag team with Carrie, Carrie Sane. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, that's cool and all, but they don't really mesh together. One's a badass, the other one's a pirate. What are they doing? Oh, well, they're Japanese, so we'll put them together and call them Kabuki Warriors. Except that's stupid. Oh, jeez. Yeah, Randy Orton. Enough with Randy Orton. You know what I hope happens one of these days? I hope that Diamond Dallas Page comes out. I hope that something happens and Randy Orton's going to come out of nowhere with one of those RKOs and Diamond Dallas Page comes out of nowhere with the Diamond Cutter. The move that Randy Orton stole and called the RKO. I hope he's just going to go, whoop, bam, dropped you. Bang! Like a fellow Jersey boy, you know what I'm saying? That's what I want to see. Now they're trying to make it look like MMA. Yes, when they hired Cain Velasquez, who doesn't have any knees, The guy doesn't have knees for crying out loud. How's he supposed to wrestle? They went and made Braun Strowman lose to that one boxing guy. I'm sorry, does anybody watch boxing anymore? I saw this guy. I'm like, Tyson Fury is his name. Like, who the heck is this guy? Who is this guy? Like, I don't think anybody watches boxing anymore. So knows. Like, what is this stuff? WWE's trash since the PG camp crap. Is it even PG? Is it even like really PG anymore? That's just weird, man. The whole thing is just weird. Kane tried to be a modern artist when he stopped doing lots of comics art, and his stuff is completely tepid. Yeah, yeah, wasn't great. Anti-Monitor versus the Beyonder. That's not really much of a fight, dude. The Beyonder can do anything, except that one crappy version they did where he's actually an Inhuman. That was just so dumb. Oh God, that was so painfully dumb. I say this, Tyson Fury had a great entrance. Yeah, in the Saudi Crown Jewel, he did have a great entrance. You know what was amazing is that they actually had women wrestling there. I thought it was great. There's a lot of people over here who don't get it. And Saud, I don't know if you're actually Saudi or from Saudi Arabia, but I spent 5 years in Saudi Arabia, and I know so many of the customs that are over there and whatnot, and like a lot of people in the rest of the world aren't going to get it. So I know there were a lot of people here who were just like, oh well, it's ridiculous, they couldn't let them wear their costumes, they had to wear like these sweatpants over top of their clothes and whatnot. It's like, I don't think you understand the concept of crawl before you walk, walk before you run, because that was amazing. For all the good and the bad that they do from all over. Oh, you're from Qatar. That's right. I think you told me that before. Um, what do you call it? I know that they like it was amazing to see women wrestling. And the first person out was Natalia, who's Canadian. And Canada and Saudi Arabia still have problems with each other. They still clash with each other. So I thought that was just great. Like Dungeon represent, Stu Hart represent, Calgary, Canada. You know what I'm saying? Do us proud, Nats. Do us proud. Um, let's see. Yeah, I barely recognize Cena with hair, right? Um, hey, Comic Cat 84. All the Inhuman stuff was editorial mandated from on high. It was just one thing that they did. Um, Superpower review. What's going on? Dude, Sense looked so weird. I guess you're saying Cena in that new movie Playing with Fire. Yep, you meant Cena. Spell check. I get it. You're on your phone. So anyway, guys, that is an hour and 37 minutes going. But yeah, not a wrestling fan. Do you ever watch Rodriguez? I don't know who that person was, Mark, especially since you deleted the comment. I don't know. I don't know who that is. Bummed after a generation hobby tend to hear Stan's lovable gravel voice. Stan had a cool voice. Stan had a really cool voice. I remember growing up watching those old Hulk cartoons or the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, and Stan Lee would be doing the voiceovers and whatnot. Man, that was just amazing. Robert Rodriguez's Lucha Underground show. Yeah, I don't remember the name Robert Rodriguez, but I watched all of season one. I know they continue for a bunch more shows. Um, I don't get the channel up here, and I don't see the stuff online, but I loved that stuff, man. The only successful actors or wrestlers who turned acting was Rock and Batista. No, Hulk Hogan has to be considered a popular actor also. Um, but also John Cena, he's in a bunch of stuff. Oh, hey, tomorrow is Hawkman Day. Tomorrow for you, bro. Tomorrow for you. Yes, on my other channel, CBU-Toys, I'm gonna put up a review that I did for the Hawkman toy that I got. Spent $50 on it. It was worth it. It's the old. It's from the early 2000s or late. I think it's from the early 2000s. It's a totally awesome figure. I bought it. It was worth it. $50 plus shipping. Extra $15 for shipping. Yeah. So I did a review for that, and that's gonna go up on Hawkman Day on the 11th. So yes, yes indeed. Um, I only want to be one Comic Con in my life. It's 3 years ago, and Stan was supposed to come to Wizard. He canceled. Wow, that sucks. I wish I could have met because I knew I would never get to. Yeah, I hear you. It is a loss. It is a loss, man. Uh, Piper in the live, of course, not really a star. Oh, Piper, yes, Roddy Piper was also he also made it big. You're right. I'm not gonna say like he was super big, but like he did They Live, and he did a bunch of them. But They Live is a super cult classic, so done and done. Um, and also Jesse the Body Ventura. Now that I think about it, those two actually did a pilot for a duo. They're like retired wrestlers, and they're solving crimes or something like that. They just did a pilot. I think you could actually watch it for free on YouTube. Just have to remember what it was called. It's kind of like a buddy cop movie and or a TV show, but yeah, it was only the one episode. It was only the pilot. John Cena trying to be a popular actor now. He could if he wanted to. There was one movie that he was in. I think not the wrestler. It was something where he was the big brother of a wrestler, and it was I think it was called Legend. It was a really good movie, man. I loved that movie. Batista's the only wrestler actor I would call good. Well, that's going to be like a figure of that's just your personal taste. So I hear you. Yo, keep reviewing comics. You on a roll? I try. I try, man. Uh, They Live was an amazing one of my favorites John Carpenter did. Yeah, dude, They Live is just one of the best movies ever. And David Arquette. Okay, that's funny. Yeah, and everybody else who appeared in that movie too. Um, but what was it? They Live is just such a perfect TV movie. I wouldn't mind seeing that pulled into a TV, like redone into a TV series with John Carpenter's blessing only. I'm a very firm believer in that. You know what I'm saying? But that should absolutely be like put that on HBO Plus. Do something like that because that would be amazing. That could be a TV series, absolutely. Um, and it was such a great eye opener, literally. You know what I'm saying? An eye opener for the State of the Union, so to speak. 84. What is this? 95 years. Ha, AR. I said successfully, mind you. Legend is that old Tom Cruise movie. Oh, that was a good movie. That was who made that movie? Ripley, something Ripley. Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott made that one. Yes, and that was yeah, that was really good. I like that. That was one of the best soundtracks ever, man. I can listen to that stuff over and over again. Loved by the sun. I've been talking too long, so ain't no singing coming out of me right now. And I was trying to leave, and then all of a sudden these questions come in. Um, oh, Stephen Amell's doing a wrestling drama on Stars. Awesome. Literally watching The Fog right now. Speaking of John Carpenter. Oh, that one, the old one. Nice. Shaq technically wrestled. Nope, 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 nope. Doesn't count. That doesn't count. Hey, I found where Zoe Quinn taking over Batman Superman is from. Yellow Flash. Yeah. So anyway, um, uh, Ridley Scott. Yep, yep. Ridley Scott. Arthur Curry as the devil is so dope. Yes. His name was Darkness in that one. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Nobody could recognize him. He was so different from every other role he's ever done. Um, Sci-Fi Channel almost did a Things sequel miniseries about Russians getting a piece of it and it getting loose, small American town years later and evolving and getting into the air even. Oh, wow. The Rock was great in Star Trek Voyager. That's my wife's favorite TV show. She was just watching that episode recently where he goes and gives the rock bottom to somebody. And she's like, I've watched this so many times that I realized that the person being knocked over is not actually Jerry Ryan, but it's her stunt double. I'm like, wow, I never noticed that. And I remember watching that when it was first being syndicated on TV. You know what I'm saying? And she only started watching Star Trek Voyager a couple of years ago when I introduced her to it. I did it slowly. I introduced her to the original series, and actually, no, excuse me. I introduced her to Star Trek Next Generation because I knew that she wouldn't get into the original series right away. That would have to be something she'd have to figure out on her own because there's no nostalgia there for her, you know? So I had her watch Next Generation. She fell in love with Data. I was like, cool. Now go back and compare Data to Spock in the original series. And she's like, oh my God, this was cool. Oh, and the way I did that was by having her watching the movies, the actual movies that came out, the original series Star Trek movies. And she was like, whoa, this is great. So then she went back and watched the original. She's like, really campy, but yes, Spock is just such an amazing character. And then, what do you call it? Some Deep Space Nine. And then she went off on her own and she started watching Star Trek Enterprise. I was like, not, yeah, Enterprise. At the time it was the newest one before Discovery came out. And she actually liked it. And I was like, wow, I'm surprised because I didn't like that at all. I never would have asked you to watch that. And then after a while, I was like, okay, enough of this. You have to stop watching this stuff. Now we're going to watch the real one. Now we're going to watch Star Trek Voyager. She's like, I don't know if I can get into another one. I was like, shh, listen and learn. She watched just one episode. Well, the first episode was Caretaker. That was actually a two-part, and she fell in love with it. She's like, "Done, done. This is the greatest. Oh my God, this is the greatest version. There's a female captain, and she's strong." It's like, yeah, Janeway's badass, man. She's badass. I follow her on Twitter, man. She's awesome. And just like, and then later on when Jerry Ryan shows up as Seven of Nine, forget about it. She was so hooked. You know, when the Scorpion episodes, another two-parter came out, dude, she was just hooked. So yeah, yeah, like she is a Star Trekker, not a Trekkie, a Trekker, Star Trekker. She'll go and she'll just sit there and start talking to all the people cosplaying as a Star Trek character. Like she will sit there and start talking about what's your favorite episode and this and that. Like she bugs these people's ears off, but they love it. So they start talking to her about it, man. Who's my least favorite Marvel character? Ooh, that's gonna be a hard one. Um, I'm not a huge fan of slapstick, but I don't really like that kind of humor. You know what I'm saying? So the character slapstick, not a huge fan. Arrowverse has a lot of wrestler shows showing up as villains. Nice, nice. If there weren't so many of those shows out, I'd probably watch it. Once Legends of Tomorrow came out, I was just like, okay, this is too much. Plus the quality wasn't good. I didn't like what they did with Hawkman. So yeah, I just didn't bother watching it. More than Daredevil, I think Miller's Batman is more responsible for modern Batman, 100%, beyond the shadow of a doubt. But make no mistake, Daredevil was his application to write Batman, you know? So it counts. It totally counts. Dylan, hey Professor, I forgot if you answered, but what's your favorite Star Wars movie? Since you were talking about showing your son Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back is still my favorite one. After that would have to be one that a lot of people don't like, Return of the Jedi. Ewoks don't actually bother me. They genuinely do not bother me. I'm just like, whatever. They're not as bad as Jar Jar. But I loved that final fight between Luke and Darth Vader with the Emperor in the background and that freaking music. Like, dude, I every single time, like here's the thing, I don't like to cry in front of my family, and I'm a big pussy. You know what I'm saying? I'm like my little kitty over here. She knows I'm a big pussy. You know what I'm saying? If there's something on that's just even remotely sad, I cry like a baby for. I'm just like wiping my eyes, and now I'm wearing glasses, so I gotta be like, try and I can't play it off anymore. I'm literally lifting my glasses to rub my eyes. I'm like, I'm such a sissy. You know what I'm saying? So, um, what have you. When that comes on, I'm gonna be showing my sons. I know I'm gonna be like tearing up like crazy. So I just gotta keep like a towel with me and be like, hot, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? Like rub my forehead, use my palm and like rub my eyes. Dude, yeah, forget about it. I love, love, love that. Absolutely love that. So like the whole movie is worth watching just for that. Oh, yeah. Ooh, plus I'm going to be showing them a son killing their father. Huh. Wonder how that's going to play off in the future. Anybody remember the Menendez brothers? Anyway, Frank Miller and Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil. I know it's always Dennis O'Neil. It's Denny O'Neil, who's responsible for modern day Batman. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You could even get funky with it and throw in some Jim Starlin in there. Why not? Frank Miller or Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil, who's responsible for the. I just read that one. Duh. CW doing a Superman show and including John Kent. Okay, cool. I don't know why they're doing that. Like they've got this streaming service. Listen. you guys know I'm a marketer. I got my degree in business with a specialty in marketing. This is just me talking. You want to make the Arrowverse? Put 90% of it on the DC streaming service. Put what so if you've got like 5, 6, 7 shows, anywhere up to 9 shows, have them all on the regular service, but have one of them on the CW. And make sure there's constant references and every so often have like a crossover episode or something like that, where the CW guys who only have the CW just stay there. They just stay there. And it's like, oh, I don't need to buy the HBO service or the DC streaming service or whatever. I don't need to buy that. I can just watch this show. Oh, this character's on over there? Maybe I'll think about it. Just give every so often a reminder with an appearing hero or a reference. Make sure that the series that's on the CW is still a standalone, though. Make sure it's still standalone so nobody feels compelled to go over there. But put the stuff up on there once in a while so that people could say, you know what? It's only $10. It's only $10. Let me give it a shot. Oh, and there's a free trial? Let me try it. And they go on, they check in, they're just like, oh my God, these shows are amazing. And then all of a sudden, right? Like that's how you do it. That's how you market it. You don't put all these shows on the CW because what do you got? You got a crappy TV show budget, right? Doom Patrol couldn't have happened the way that it happened on the CW, you know? So you put these shows on the streaming service and then you have one show only on the CW. But give the hint for people to come on over. I know. What's up, Raven? How you doing? Yep, 2 more days, 3 more days. The 12th, man, the 12th. Can't wait. Actually, for you, it is only 2 more days because it's the 10th for you now over in Aussie land. Hey, oh yeah, up there you say good day. I'm like talking to you and I'm looking up there. Oh, Raven's here. Duh, I'm talking to you. What's going on, dude? Uh, I think the Menendez brothers were Star Trek fans, so you're good. Thank you, Dylan. I appreciate that. Not everything go on the streaming service. No, you're 100% right, Mark. Marvel's putting some good stuff on Hulu and Disney Plus and probably doing TV. Correct. Correct. Yeah, they should be doing something on TV like ABC because that's also owned by Disney. Elephant in the room, Sahib. Not to be negative, Nancy, but the Arrowverse is meh. See, that's the thing. I thought that Arrow was amazing. I loved that show. Then they put out The Flash. I'm like, okay, this is actually pretty good. But then they put out, Legend. But I could still tell that The Flash, like the budget would be so much better if it wasn't on TV. Then they go and they throw the freaking Legends of Tomorrow on there, and there were too many heroes on there, not enough budget to go around, and the show stunk up the room. The show felt no different from Smallville, and that was years earlier. And it's like you're telling me that this show, they can't get the freaking budget any better, they can't get the graphics to be any better. I was just so sad with that, so brokenhearted with that. So yeah, that was when I finally said I'm done with the CW. I can't watch all these shows, and they just kept on putting out more and more shows. They're still putting out new shows. I just don't have that much time in my life, and I hate watching shows on network television because then I've got to actually schedule. Like I've actually got to write into my schedule, be home at this time to watch TV. I can't do that. I can't do that with my life. I can't. Like I'm a stay-at-home dad. I work in the mornings and I do comic book university. There's no way I could ever do something like that. So that just killed it for me. That's too smart for them to do. Well, hire me. I'm more than happy to do it. Justin Anaya. Justin Anaya. I hope I did your name right. Did you ever watch ECW? I did watch ECW. I'm a Jersey boy, man, and Pennsylvania's right across the street, and they had a lot of shows in New Jersey. I never went to any of their shows, but yes, I did watch ECW. As I grew older, though, saying like I started to get a better. One of the reasons why I like regular wrestling so much is because as much as they do put their bodies through, they're not actually trying to kill each other. It's the reason why I don't like to watch boxing. I don't like to watch MMA. I don't like to watch anything like gladiatorial where they're actually trying to hurt each other. I just have no interest in watching people trying to hurt each other because I know what this is. Those who don't learn their history are doomed to repeat it. This is just the gladiatorial arenas. It's not going to be too far off. Let's be realistic. Before one day, who knows how many years from now, how many decades from now, They start actually putting swords in each other's hands. You know what I'm saying? In some like, what's the new big thing that we can do? Boxing isn't doing it for people anymore. Let's do MMA where they're actually, kicking each other also. Like, what's next? What's next? They're just doing all these things, and it's simply a way to distract the masses from the fact that rich people are screwing us over by buying our politicians. Bought, sold, we have the receipts. So yeah, I can't do it. I just can't do it. Um, or rather, they cut the episodes 6 or 8 out of the villain of the week and felt right, right? Um, Legends of Tomorrow got way better after season one. Oh, I didn't even finish season one. It stopped talking to itself, and it's basically Justice League International now. That was when Guggenheim left, right? Sandman was a party animal. Sandman was in it? Wow. Was it the original Sandman with the gas mask? Or was it Neil Gaiman's Sandman? Or somebody else entirely? Elephant in the Room. Oh, talking to Alt Fact. Uh, I met most of the ECW original wrestlers. I figured you did, Thomas. Uh, Pretty fly for a Filipino guy. What's going on, man? CW, hate it. Still better than Tom King's Batman. You're not wrong, man. Especially with John Romita Jr. writing it, or excuse me, drawing it. Oh my God, that guy just breaks my heart. Because there's talent in there, and he's just like, yeah, I don't care. I don't make money by doing nice pictures. I make money by doing pictures. So just gonna do them fast. Um, I'm done with series based on comic books with the Wokemen, Watchmen, HBO. Oh, really? They're the Wokemen? Oh, the Wrestler Sandman. My bad, my bad. Did Batman copy Frank Miller Daredevil? Which Batman? Batman 82? Batman issue number 82. What they do with that? I looked at it briefly in the comic book store. Just whatever, man. Yeah, all of it. I can't stand it. I forget exactly what even happened in there, but I remember I looked at it in the comic book store and I was like, nope, not interested. I moved on. There's only 2 more issues left and then he's gone. Issue 84, I believe, is his last issue. Then he's doing a 12-issue maxi series, Batman and Catwoman. I don't need to read that. I'll probably get, issue 1 just to check it out, just because, and I'll do a review for it. But I just don't have any real interest in seeing that. How can you have a Watchmen show and not have none of the characters? Because they have to. Yes, Guggenheim did X-Men Gold. Um, how can you have Watchmen show and not have none of the characters? I hear you, but most of those characters died, right? And any of the characters were still around, they're probably going to show later. Honestly, I don't know. I honestly don't know because the way that I look at it is just, psst, it's whatever. Oh, it has Silk and Ozymandias. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I liked X-Men Gold. I didn't like it when it was trying to work with X-Men Blue. X-Men Blue was just going crazy. That was Cullen Bunn was writing that, and I think that was Marcus Toe was drawing it. The art was always. I kept on telling people it's the most beautiful comic book you're ever going to read. It is a gorgeous comic book. But as far as the writing was concerned, it kept trying to be a bunch of like it was doing Venom in space and stuff like. And I'm like, what are you doing? You're not even putting the right Venom in space. What are you doing? And then X-Men Gold had to follow some of those storylines. Finally, Guggenheim released. He's like, I'm not doing anything else with X-Men Blue anymore or any other comic books. I'm writing my own comic book and I'm done. And once he started doing that, the comic book got great again, and it wound up being better than X-Men Blue. Not the art, sorry, but the in my opinion, the book just became amazing, amazing. Nightcrawler being kicked out of heaven, because he came back. He's like, well, we're not letting you back in heaven again. So, and it's Nightcrawler, so he's always going to do good things. So he kept on dying, but he kept on coming back to his beaten and broken body. It's like, oh my God, this poor guy, because he's not going to go to hell, right? It's Nightcrawler for crying out loud. Oh my God, it was amazing. I loved it. Elephant in the room, CBU, do you complain to Marvel about the cheap quality of the cover paper they put out with especially with the black ink, right? I used to mention all the time. I don't think Marvel cares what I say. I don't think they even know who I am. So, Like very few writers or artists know who I am, so it just is what it is. Yes, James Tynion the Fourth will be writing Batman 86. It's gonna be fire and legit. Tony Daniel gives sneak peeks of his drawing on Twitter. I see it. Um, they probably shouldn't have called it Watchmen. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Just call it After Watchmen. This way people know what they're getting. Mr. DC Comics. People argue that modern day Batman wouldn't be here if he didn't copy Frank Miller's Daredevil. Is that true? Modern day Batman wouldn't be here. You mean the one that Tom King is doing? I still don't have enough information on that to go with. Modern day Batman. If he didn't copy Frank Miller's Daredevil, I don't know because like I said, Frank Miller wrote he did Daredevil, and then he moved on. And he started doing Batman, and he revolutionized that character in such a major way with the Return of the Dark Knight. I mean, can anybody argue that is one of the greatest comic books that's ever been made? Like that is just it's absurd how good that was. So you didn't like the way they portrayed Karate Kid on New Legion of Superheroes? No. As a martial artist, no. As a person who's actually familiar, just familiar, mind you, with the Far East, no, and not at all. Story had interesting concept, but I disliked the writing. Will Tom King be? When will Tom King be happy? That's a funny question. I don't know. Anyway, guys, we're at the beginning of the second hour, and I'm done. I don't usually like to go this long because it gets a little bit too never because it just gets too much. You know, saying like people have to take too much time out of out of their day. And again, I just freewheel this. You know what I'm saying? Once I actually start doing this on a regular podcast network, I'm going to try and get a little, I'm still going to freewheel a lot, but I'm going to try and have a script ready so I at least have something to feed off of. But yeah. Oh, wow. Silva's back. What's up? But I'm out. I'm out. So, guys, I will talk to y'all later. I got a couple more comics to read, a couple slices of pizza to eat, and then a video to make. So I'll catch you all on the flip side. And I've still got to get this face rip game off the ground because there are people just they're getting pissed off at me for not getting my session zeros out. So I got to put this together. Anyways, I will talk to all you guys later. Love, peace, and hair grease. Catch you on the flip side. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Love you guys. Class dismissed.